Hi, everyone. Welcome back and happy Wednesday. All right, guys. Well, we are back to talk about the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, the reunion part 2. And there was a that we needed to talk about. Yes, definitely. So we're going to dive into all of it. We have Kim from Bravo Breaking News, who's absolutely killing it on her own YouTube channel. She has shows coming out. She has things that she's doing. I always tell you guys, I'm not going to lie. I love a good studio. I'm a studio hoe. Okay. And I love her studio. I love everything that she's done. And I also, as we all come on here and we collectively cover the same content, but just with different voices, it's so wild to watch each other expand and do different things and grow. So I always think it's exciting. I get inspired by it. And I hope you guys do too. Now, in the meantime, smash the like button, show some love. And also in the live chat, let us know where you're watching from. I pinned a little thing in the live chat to let you guys know, and I shared it to in the description, and also on my platforms. We are also expanding in a different way. We are changing it up. UpandAdamLive.com. It's about to be a thing. I put a message there for you guys. And at the bottom, you can enter your email address so you're the first to know. We're not going to just throw something up and see what sticks. I don't like doing that. And my husband is super organized and he can't do that. So we want to make sure it is the best version of what we envisioned for this before it goes up. And I can't wait for you guys to be a part of it. So put in your email address and be in the know. Now, with that, let's welcome our girl, Kim. Here we go. Hello.
Hey, Adam, I just signed up. I just signed up to join the email list. So I hope I'm the first to know.
Hey, let's do the damn thing, Kim.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see expansion, growth, success. I love to see it.
Thank you, Kim. No, I'm excited about that. And then I'm excited too. I was talking yesterday with Emily that I was just telling you about this, about BravoCon, because even though we're in April, these things sneak up on us, you know?
Oh yeah, I already have my hotel room booked. I'm ready. I don't even have a ticket. Yeah, I'm ready.
I wanted to say that's what we were trying to figure out yesterday was where do we want to stay, because last year we stayed at the Venetian. It was so easy to kind of navigate walking there. A lot of people think Caesar's Palace because what is it called? The Caesar's Convention Center?
Right. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So a lot of people think it's, like Caesar's Palace would be the place to stay, but I don't think people realize, unless you're really familiar with Vegas, that it's super difficult to get there from Caesar's Palace.
Yeah, I will say I stayed at the Link last time, which was the cheapest option. As far as like close by proximity, you could definitely tell. It wasn't super bad, but I decided I will not be staying there this year. I booked like a Hilton suite, so within walking distance. So yeah, I'm ready. I'm so ready.
I think it's gonna be so much fun this year. It's gonna be interesting to see how they do things. And even talking to Emily, she always has great ideas. She is constantly inspiring me. And she says every year, this is gonna be our third one doing it because we missed last year. All of us, not just us, but clearly we had a little halt on BravoCon. She's like, why is there not some sort of like creators circle or creators meetup? Or, because we're constantly driving the conversation. I feel like we're essentially free research and development R&D for Bravo and the network. Like, why are we not getting rewarded for this?
I totally agree. Free marketing, free publicity for every single show, every trailer, cast photos, reunion looks, every single thing we are covering it. And we're not getting paid by Bravo for it. So that's the least that they could do.
Exactly. And also every once in a while, guys, I know that they love bringing in people for moderators. Even if it's not me, this is not, because I don't know who their moderators are going to be this year. I tried the last 2 years and I'm not even attempting it this year, but I would love to see one of us. I don't care if it's Christian Grace Snow, if it's Kim, if it's our girls from Taste of Reality, if it's us, if it's anybody else. I would love to see a content creator who heavily covers these shows go up and moderate one of these panels.
I agree. I agree. I feel like we talk about this like every year leading up to BravoCon or even after, because they have big celebs like Rachel Lindsay, Matt Rogers, who I absolutely adore. Danny Pellegrino. I think he counts as a creator. I think
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, that's true.
he's done it before, but I would like to see also somebody in our circle do it. I just feel like we've earned it, like we've done the interviews. I've been on the red carpet, talking to Bravo Lebs with my mini mic, and I'm ready to do it at BravoCon. So Bravo, if you're listening, yeah, I'm ready. I'm just so ready. I've been ready for 2 years.
We love it. We love it. So we're asking, guys, maybe the Bravo gods will answer. Now, in the meantime, manifestation, yes. Put out positive. I firmly believe you get out of this life what you put into it. People always say, is that possible? Guys, anything's possible. Anything in this life is possible. So just don't forget that. Don't be too hard on yourselves. It might not be this year, but maybe it's next. You never know. So with that, guys, I want you in the live chat to rate part 2 of the reunion, 1 to 10, 10 being the highest. I'm going to start with Kim. Kim, where are you at?
I think I'm going to give it actually a solid 7. Part 2s tend to be not the best. They kind of tend to be filler episodes, but I thought we got some good stuff last night. What about you?
I think a 7 is a pretty solid, it definitely wasn't a 10 for me, but I didn't get bored throughout it. I love the fact that Garcelle is still kind of holding Sutton accountable for some of her bad behavior. Dorit, we'll get into it, but Dorit was definitely trying to get an activated Sutton, and I think that we might get there. Like, oh, there she is. I'm like,
here she
Dorit,
comes.
here she comes. Yeah,
She comes.
that's what it was. Here she comes. And I'm like, Dorit, you're going to have this woman just flip her. What are we doing, Dorit? You know that she's going to flip out. Like, is that what we want? We want a moment. I don't think she's going to give you a moment. The girl is going to give you a whole Broadway musical. You might want to, I don't know what we're going to get,
Totally. But I mean, not gonna lie, Tilly was kind of right. Like, is Sutton on anxiety medication right now? Like, she was very timid, like, until Dorit started to call her out. I think she was just kind of waiting for her turn, right?
I agree. And also it was funny. Garcelle, even though she still sort of called Sutton on her shit, part 1, and going into part 2, because she's not just blindly supporting Sutton. I thought she still showcased, like, I am a friend. And she was like, you're mic'd. And I'm like, yeah, Jennifer Tilly, what do you do with your snacks and all? You're mic'd, girl. We can hear your chomping. We can hear everything. All of it.
Oh my God. I love Jennifer Tilly. The fact that her entire segment is purely about how rich she is and how she can get these designer bags and how, she has all of these relationships with these I love it so much that the necklace, in her cast photo, that is one of a kind, one of the most prestigious piece of jewelry in America. Like, please, please.
Yeah, the woman's got money, honey. She's got money. Tracy, thank you. If Bravo paid you, then you wouldn't be objective. I don't even think, by the way, just to kind of elaborate on that beginning conversation, I don't think that any of us are asking for Bravo to pay. I don't think that's the recognition that it comes in a monetary form. I think that it's more of just like hey, let us be a part of the conversation. Sure, maybe we might not agree with everything. And if we're not paid, then we still get to be objective and we still get to hold people's feet to the fire. We love it.
Definitely. No, I agree with her completely.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So going into last night's episode, I want to start with this one. Kyle Richards. Andy ended up confronting Kyle, and I saw where somebody put a meme up saying, when Andy is the one who has to ask the tough questions, like, that's not a good thing, because maybe this is the job of, like, the women who are sitting around on the couches that should be asking these questions. But he kind of confronted Kyle about her reluctance to discuss this relationship with Morgan Wade. And Kyle is standing 10 toes on the ground, being like, no, it's not, she didn't sign up for this. And I don't know why everybody is so invested. And he's like, girl, you made a video where it made it look like you guys were lovers. Like, you're traveling everywhere. What are you doing? You know, he's like looking at her like, it's starting to sound crazy, Kyle. I can't defend it.
Yeah, no, I am so glad he called her out because let's be real. I've said this before. This story is too drawn out. I feel like at this point, I don't give a shit what's happening with Kyle and Morgan because it's been going on for too long and I've lost interest, honestly. But, at the end of the day, I think what he said, he was rightful in. Like, don't do a music video if you want privacy and you don't want people to ask. It's definitely a double standard when it comes to Kyle. I kind of did understand what she said about to Garcelle about the off-camera conversation though. It's like, I think of it from like a human perspective and then like a reality TV star perspective. Like she's like, look, I opened up to you off camera because, I confided in you. I trusted you. This was something that, I kind of knew that was kind of going around, but I wanted to tell you and make sure you knew. Garcelle was having none of it because she brought it up on camera anyway. So I don't know. I just thought that it was interesting the way Kyle played this, but at the same time, I still don't think that she's playing it right. I still don't think that she's playing it right.
Do you think, okay, what did you think? Since I know you feel like we're kind of like beating this thing to death, I also think Andy made a very valid point. She said, Kyle noted that Morgan wants her privacy. And he was like, well, Kyle, it's not like she's like a private person. She is a public figure. Some of these girls that Mauricio Umansky is running around with, those girls they're not public figures. So if they wanted their privacy and didn't want to be on a show, okay. They're not, like it's not the same. But also he kind of noted, listen, you can't pretend like Bravo has not done a lot for her and made her sort of this household name, which is actually what Dorit said. And I'm like, oh no, that's true. Because he was like, you can't have your cake and eat it too.
It's 100% true. I would not know who Morgan Wade is at all. I don't think I would ever be introduced to her or her music if it weren't for this show. I think that goes for a lot of people. So I think she should actually be thanking Kyle for bringing her, because at the end of the day, I think they bonded over her music to begin with. Kyle gave her kind of a platform. That's great. Kyle was in her music video. None of us would be watching her music videos if it weren't for that. I bet that music video has millions of views on YouTube because of Kyle Richards. So I think she needs to kind of rethink the whole thing here and just really, I do think that if you're in the public eye, there is some territory that comes with it. And that's the fact that you are in the spotlight. People learn to care about what you do and who you're with. And let's be real, celebrity relationships, we see what goes on with them all the time. We see them out and about together. We see them, get married, get divorced, get cheated on, whatever. We see it all in the headlines. So why are they any different? Why is there like a different standard for Kyle and Morgan? I guess it's because of the nature of their relationship, but I don't know. I just feel like, I don't know. I just feel like it's a bit of a double standard.
Okay, so since you're mentioning double standard, I know that this was last week's episode, but I, of course, have been paying attention to a lot of the, let's call it fodder, that's been going on since last week's reunion, part 1. And a lot of people feel like Erica was sort of exhibiting a double standard when she was like, Garcelle, you and Sutton, like, who are you dating? What's going on? Blah, blah, blah. And people were like, wait, girl, you're talking about like having sex and like doing all of these things where you have a man here or a man there or whatever. And like, you're happy and you're good. You're content. You're not sharing any of that. We don't know who these people are. So what is the difference? And I didn't know if you personally agreed with that or if you're like, well, she has enough other storyline that she probably doesn't want, but that fills those gaps.
Yeah, so my opinion on Erica is an unpopular one. I don't see a lot of people agreeing with me. I get it. I don't think Erica brought a lot this season. I think she definitely took a backseat. She's not showing who she's dating. Neither is Garcelle. But I feel like over time, as a whole, Erica has given us a lot more, if I'm comparing it to Garcelle, than Garcelle. I know, yes, it's due to some heinous criminal actions and tumultuous relationships and all of that. But I feel like it's okay for Erica to take a back seat. She's going through some legal issues. I I just feel like this season I was okay with Erica kind of being more of a wallflower and not really contributing a ton versus I feel like Garcelle, I'm not saying she hasn't contributed a ton over the course, but just like her personal storyline just definitely hasn't brought as much as Erica. So I just feel like we need to look at it from a higher level and not just like season by season.
I agree with that. I agree. Okay, now going back over, I want to talk about the Dorit of it all. I don't understand why PK has not filed for divorce if, in fact, it was true. If it, in fact, is true that after 10 years that he would have to split everything, get alimony, blah, blah, blah. But he did post, it's better to admit that you walked through the wrong door than to spend your life in the wrong room. Thank you. Over to Bywig. Hello, drama. Do you think that we had a more activated, because of course we had a more activated Dorit this season, but do you think that stems from knowing that she really needs to fight for her livelihood? Or do you think that she's just like, I have this situation with this husband, he's getting on my nerves. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like everything's kumbaya with you ladies. Like, do you think it was just inherently, like this energy, this person, it wasn't a put on, it's just like, this is where I'm at in my life right now? Or was it, I need to save my job in case PK gets going?
I think it's a little bit of both, to be honest. And I think that I personally think that's okay. I do think she had it up to here when it comes to PK. Obviously, I think she had it up to here when it comes to Kyle. I mean, I'm going to say it. This was Dorit's best season. And whether like what the intentions behind that were, whether it was because she was fed up with everybody, with Kyle, with PK, with Garcelle, with Sutton, or she kind of felt like, look, I need to step it up to support my kids. I've said that before. I think when the divorce all came out, and I think there was some headline about like in her contract, whether they weren't going to bring her back unless she was going to mention it all about PK. Whether that was true or not, I don't know. But yeah, I think there's two sides to the truth here. And I'm okay with that though. What do you think?
No, I agree. I think that I think both things can be true at the same time. I think that she's looking at this relationship crumble before her very eyes. And, it's kind of like what Bethany Frankel says, like maybe years ago, it was okay to be like the doe-eyed partner who just gets to spend money and like you live this lavish life. But then all of a sudden, like something happens and, oh my God, I don't know what to do. And I respect anybody who wants to make sure that they are not put in that vulnerable position. So if that's what it took and she had to get activated in this way in order to ensure that that was not going to be the case, listen, the woman has a family. She has a lifestyle. She doesn't want to regress. She wants to evolve.
And the thing is, like, if a housewife came in with that intention of wanting to save her job and it came off thirsty and forced and like, that type of way, we could see right through it. But everything I feel that Dorit felt about PK, about Kyle texting PK, about Sutton's words and actions against her, I felt she was like rightful in how she felt and how she reacted. Again, I don't know if people are going to agree with that, but I feel like it came off as authentic, whether that was her intention or not.
So, and I also thought it was interesting because last night everyone seemed to agree. It was sort of like I was watching Real Housewives of Atlanta when the entire cast got up and walked out of Kenya More Hair Spa, during that moment, because they were like, this is wrong. And I think that the entire cast for Beverly Hills shared the same sentiment when it came to Dorit Kemsley being told by Sutton, I think my wallet is bigger. I think that. And they were all like, no, Sutton, that was an asshole thing to say. And even Kathy Hilton said, you told me the other day, we had a conversation. I told you, she said I wasn't proud of it. And Kathy was like, well, you shouldn't be. You shouldn't be proud of it. You know, so I agreed with that. But then we have Dorit, which I thought was funny because I know your position on this, but you can reiterate and elaborate on that because we don't know if we might have new viewers in here in the live chat. Welcome, guys, if you are. But she was like, you don't exactly live like the Queen of Sheba. You live on a fucking main road, okay? And Andy was like, wait, you're weaponizing the fact that she lives on a main road in Bel Air? And she's like, I wouldn't want to fucking live on a main road. And I was like,
she lives on a main road. We've talked about it in my group chat. I love that Dorit brought it up. If I had as much money as Sutton Strack, I would not live on a main road. I just love that shade. That is like the classic housewife shade that we know and love that like brought us to these shows. I love it. And at the end of the day, I feel like once again, I'm going to defend Dorit because Sutton can say all she wants that she didn't mean anything by the wallet comment. She didn't mean to be, she didn't mean to hurt her feelings. But how else would you intend to say that? That is, when you say that, that is meant to hurt somebody. That is meant to take a dig at them. Like, how else are you supposed to mean it?
you know, and I think normally I give New Jersey comparisons, but this is an easy one to kind of go reach out of the pocket of Atlanta again, because it's like when Britt Eady in a heated argument, or she was arguing with herself, essentially, really. There was like, it was just Britt versus Britt in that moment. Kenya took it to another level. But when she mentioned having a weapon, it's like, how else did you intend for that to land? You know what I mean? Like, you use that in an argument, clearly that is going to be perceived as a threat. And the same thing for Sutton. It's like, you use this in an argument. So clearly there is it's like what you said about Garcelle. Well, if you're implying that you think it was something that was done within this burglary in-house and you're saying it wasn't Dorit, then who else would it have been? You know?
Exactly. Just take accountability for saying it. Don't try to backtrack and be like, well, I didn't mean for it to be bad and hurt your feelings. How else did you mean it? There's really no way else you could have meant it. So at this point, you just have to take accountability and apologize.
I 100% agree. I agree. What did you think about Bose? We'll just say Bose, going on the Hot Mic podcast with, why am I blanking on his name?
Alex Baskin.
And saying that she believes that Kyle lied because originally she said it was all laughs and jokes and memes, but then, there was an omission, and to her, omissions equal lies.
I do see where she's coming from. I think it kind of depends on the situation. Omissions equals lies. Like, I think it's a case by case basis for me. But in this case, I do think that is the case. But I don't know. I kind of wish we would have dug into, if we can jump into the Kyle and PK texting of it all. Like, I kind of wish we could have dove into a little bit more their conversation after Oceanside, because we kind of just like breezed right by that.
Yeah. No, I agree.
And I feel like, yes, she said the tech memes and jokes, whatever. Then we saw the text that she sent to PK after the split. I guess she did send one to Dorit as well. She never heard back. If that was all it was, I don't know, it would be different. But the fact that she was still talking to him while they were filming, and everybody on the couch raises their hand, pretty much thinks that the text was inappropriate, implying that there were secrets between them. I was so Bose in that case. Like, I don't know. I just feel like Kyle can't win with this. There's no way for her to win. And I feel like it's her own doing. I don't know. What do you think about all that?
I actually agree with you. And not I never agree with you, but I do agree with you on this, because I agreed with the cast and even what Erica said and Sutton. Do I think that there was some sort of personal relationship where it was just like it was flirtatious or anything like that? No. Do I think that there was, I don't think that girl code really mattered in this moment. I think that she had a a more enjoyable relationship, especially at this time that they were conversing through text message. I think that she had a more enjoyable relationship with PK, and that's why they did kind of exchange messages in the way that they did. However, I do feel like if Dorit was messaging Mauricio, we would have a big issue. So I think again, this is another double standard, if you will. It just hasn't played out, but I think it would be.
I agree. And I agreed with Dorit completely. Like, if Kyle, it was also the way Kyle reacted. Again, it was her own doing, this whole situation. She was confronted about it. And instead of just being like, look, I texted PK after the separation was announced, she made a whole thing of it and lied. I mean, I don't even think it was omission. She straight up lied and said it was just memes and jokes when in fact it wasn't. And remind me, because was the Viper room when she was confronted, was that after Oceanside? Because if that's the case, then she would have had a conversation with PK once again while still lying about it.
No, I think that was before, because I think in Oceanside they were able to have some sort of resolve,
Okay.
but I'm not
Okay.
sure. Don't hold my feet to the fire on that.
Okay. I mean, regardless, I just feel like Kyle is like treading on thin ice with this one. And once again, like, I feel like these things, if you would just show up and take accountability for all of these women, like, we could move on. But the fact that none of them are able to stand up and take accountability and apologize or own up to anything is the fact that is why we have these storylines that just go on and on and on and on, and there's like no resolve.
Yeah, and also to kind of piggyback off of what you're saying too, I do want to defend Kyle in this, because I don't know how you are. I sometimes, especially if I'm talking to a friend, like say you and I don't agree on something, sometimes I'm just like in the car or I'm waiting for Starbucks or I'm just going. So I'll just press the record thing and I'll send like a voice note, and it's in those voice notes disappear. And I've had these conversations with a lot of my friends. Like, I don't like when people save voice notes. I hate that. I don't ever save people's voice notes. And I think, I just think it's such a breach, like, why, what are you saving it for? Especially if we're having a conversation or I'm telling you something or I'm sharing something with you. Why would you need to save that? Is it going to be weaponized or used against me? Is it like now it's not a secret? I always think about stuff like that as somebody who has been burned multiple times. And for Kyle, once Dorit crossed that line in the last reunion by giving that text message over to production, I think that was sort of that breach in trust where she was like, girl, I can't trust your ass. I can't trust you. Like, I don't even want to have a text exchange with you or anything, because I don't know what you're going to share, because you never shared it before. But now that you've done it, you can't say that you would never do it, because you've already showed us that you're capable of doing that. So in that, I'm like, oh, well, maybe Kyle, instead of sitting here trying to defend all of your actions and the fact that you were conversing with PK and maybe it was more than just fun and games and memes, maybe just be like, I wasn't comfortable messaging with you because the last time I did, it ended up in front of millions of viewers, and that's going to live on television forever.
Adam, I think you just hit the nail on the head. I know that they've brought that text message up maybe like a couple times, but really, if that was like the root of their issues, it would make a lot more sense than the BS that they spewed about, like, oh, you rated Kathy above me at BravoCon or whatever, the Amazon Live, every excuse that they used for their issues was not a good enough excuse. But if the text message was really the root of everything, I feel like that could have explained a lot more. So I agree with you 100%.
It's like, what is going on? We're just on the same page today.
Yeah, no, but that's a great point. It's a great point, and I don't know why Kyle, did she feel like it was like breaking the fourth wall a bit too much to say, like, you showed my text message at the reunion or what? But I feel like that really probably is the root cause, and instead she chose to use all of these other issues instead.
Yeah, I agree. Now, going over back to Dorit and Sutton, In your opinion, as this is playing out, like, is there a way for them to move forward, or do you think that this is just like, let's just call it what it is? You two don't like each other. It's like having a coworker. Like, I clock in at Chuck E. Cheese. I'm sitting here working next to Sam. Sam, I don't like your ass, but I know I got to be on my best behavior because we're working in the same place. But the minute that one of us quits, we're never going to speak again. That's kind of how I look at their relationship.
That's a good question. I don't know if I've really thought about if there is a future for Sutton and Dorit. Have they ever really been friends? Like, I don't know if they've ever really had a solid friendship. Like, for example, Erica and Sutton have definitely had their moments where they've gotten close and then kind of gotten further away from each other and then come back. I don't think Dorit and Sutton have really ever had that like friendship that could be the foundation of what they want to come back to. So I don't know. Like, while I don't think that they need to continue to be enemies, I don't really think they're ever going to be friends. I just don't really think that they see eye to eye. Um, yeah, I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. TT Doll said, I don't give up. I have a common friend with my ex, none of my business. I mean that real friendships don't need to pick a side. Don't tell me to do it. I'll choose the one who doesn't ask me to choose. Okay. I mean, listen, I get it. I have a sibling who was in a relationship for over like almost a decade, and my sibling wanted all of their mutual friends to not pick a side. I think that that's what my sibling just told all of the friends, and they didn't pick a side. And my sibling noticed, like, okay, this person was at barbecues with their mutual friends and that they were all going out together, going on double dates. Then my sibling completely cut all contact with all of their friends and really went down this like lonely downward spiral because they felt like they were just completely like put off to the side, even though that's what they asked for. I don't think that that's what they really meant, or, so I get it.
Yeah, I feel like it depends on the relationship as well, like the state of it. Like if it's a very contentious breakup and there's a lot of drama and ill will and hard feelings, like it's going to be a lot more difficult to see your friends still communicating with them than if it's more amicable. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And then I also thought it was interesting because Jennifer Tilly, she sat there again. She's just rich and fabulous, but she sat there watching Sutton get roasted and she was just like, girl, this is on you. I didn't ask for this. Like, I'm here to just be like a sounding board if you need me, but I don't know. Because I look at Sutton, I used to be friends with a lot of the cast of Vanderpump Rules, and that's when I first started at Sir. But mind you, this was in between filming season 1 and 2, so everybody was still fairly normal in that regard. And then I noticed like a lot of the real friendships sort of kind of got put off to the side because those people knew this cast before they were ever on TV, and they were friends. They wouldn't always agree with everything that you said, but then I noticed that those people were slowly phased out, and yes men were immediately phased in, who just like gave them all the praises and the accolades, and you're so amazing, god, you look gorgeous, you're incredible, you're on TV, everyone's jealous of you, honey. And it's like, that's who they were surrounded by because that made them feel good. I kind of look at Sutton that way, like, praise her couture, praise the fact that she's so wealthy, praise her for this. I don't think that there's a whole lot of deep connections there with her.
No, I'm worried for her next season, with Garcelle out the door. I I mean, I'm gonna guess that they bring Tilly on full time. I don't know, but I don't know if she has what it takes to really bring the drama. Like that's what I love about her, the fact that she's not like, she doesn't really seem to be the one to kind of, we don't, the thing that we love the least is when a friend of comes on and tries to insert themselves where they don't belong, right? But Tilly didn't do that. She was very authentic in her connections and the way she kind of moved about the group. So I don't know. I wonder if Tilly will come in full time. Obviously Kyle and Sutton have this newfound relationship that could become something. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Sutton like is a little bit like on an island here without Garcelle.
Listen, I kind of agree with you. I'm curious to see how this plays out. And if this is Sutton's season to get roasted, I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad. So with that, guys, I think that was pretty much the gist, the real gist of what we watched last night. I know that this is a little bit of a shorter live, but hey, like, I think that there wasn't much more to it aside from these main conversations. I think that we'll get more next week. But since we're going into next week, part 3 of the reunion, what are you looking forward to most?
Okay, here's the thing. I really hope it's like I don't really hope. I want to see what else happens in part 3 that causes Garcelle to storm off, not take the cast photo. Is it just what we saw in part 1? Or is there more coming that is going to make her blow up? Or has she just been sitting on that couch stewing for the rest of the time? You know what I mean? Like, there's got to be something else because I don't know. I feel like there's just got to be something else that happens in part 3 to really explain all of this.
Do you think that she walked away on with like her own free will, or do you think that she was sort of pushed out or told like, maybe we're going to make you a friend of, and she was like, this, I'm just going to leave on my own accord. I'm going to take that option.
Well, I don't know. Do you think she would know that by the end of the reunion? I feel like that wouldn't be a good time to tell a cast member that they had been demoted going into the reunion, because that would completely change the way they handled themselves on that stage. I just feel like the timing wouldn't have been good for that.
We'll say it was after the reunion that she
Mm.
maybe had somebody had this conversation with her. Say it had nothing to do with before the reunion. What do you think?
I
Like, do you think they offered her a different, like they just gave her a different option? Like, hey, we love you. We want to keep you around, maybe in a more limited role. Or do you think that she was still offered the same full-time role and she was like, this doesn't serve me anymore?
Well, I don't know. I think I said it last time. I do feel like Bravo oftentimes lets these women bow out, on their terms, even when they have not been asked back by Bravo. So part of me thinks that's what happened, but I don't know. I mean, it's fair to say that Garcelle had just had it. She wanted to focus on her family and mental health and move on. But I'm just basing it off of facts and history. And like most of the time, these women don't really fully choose to leave this show. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like when we look at the past, I'm just basing it off of facts. Most of the time, it's because they aren't asked back and then are demoted and they have to figure out how to move forward with that.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. That makes sense. All right, guys. Well, we have part 3 coming next week. As far as this Friday, you guys know that we'll be back for Hot Messy Topics. This Friday, we're going to be joined by a couple members of our podcast Cloud 10 family. That's going to be Emily Hanks and Kendrick Tucker. But also, like I said at the very beginning, before we had almost 800 people in the room, I want you guys to know, if you don't, and your new viewers, it doesn't just stop here with Kim. Kim has a lot going on. So if they don't know Kim, will you let them know?
Yes, head over to Bravo Breaking News on YouTube. Every Monday, I drop an episode of Unpopular Opinions, kind of breaking down the Bravo news of the week and giving my unpopular opinions, because I tend to have a lot of them. I'm not trying to stir stuff up. I'm just, being authentic in how I feel. So let me know if you agree with me or not. Of course, you can also find me on Instagram at Bravo Breaking News. And TikTok and Etsy and basically everywhere. So yeah.
You can just
hit that
get
follow button.
all of the tea. And then also, I know I shared this at the beginning again, though, but guys, I'm probably going to be talking about this all month. You guys can go to upandadamlive.com while we are perfecting everything that we have coming your way. You guys can be the first in the know by just going to the email list, putting your email in, signing up. I just want to let you guys know and reiterate, this is not a Patreon. It's not a paid platform. We are not asking you guys to, my God, give us $3 a month in order to be able to partake in all of the fun. That is not what this is. We just want to bring more because it's such a fun community and we love it over here. But also on top of that, I know that you guys loved, for Valentine's Day, we did 3 Rose Forever giveaways where we teamed up with our company Blow CBD. You guys have been so great with that. Thank you. We have more products coming your way, but they reached out to us for Mother's Day and they want to give you guys 3 more bouquets. So we will start promoting that, and then we'll have another 3 lucky winners. It's one of my favorite things, one of my favorite companies to collab with. So all exciting things. Make sure you go check out Bravo Breaking News on every single platform. Go listen to podcasts, TikTok, Instagram. And if you guys are all about the Bravo merch, Kim's Etsy shop is like one of a kind. I'm not just saying that. Actually, you know what? I need to show it because I'm obsessed with your shop, by the way.
BravoBreakingNews.etsy.com.
Let me just Bravo Breaking. Okay, so it's BravoBreakingNews.etsy.com. Let's see.
There it is.
Yes. Okay, guys. So you could see, like, I don't know where Kim comes. It's funny because Kim is like, I don't know where Adam, you come up with the time for some of the stuff that you do. And I'm like, Kim, I could say the same thing for you because you're constantly popping out new shit. And I'm like, wow, what is going on? But you guys can check it out. I didn't even know that there was a Sir Ali Vanderpump Rules throw pillow. So that's what I'm saying. Go check out the Etsy shop. There's a lot to look at and lots of fun. So do that. Smash the like button, guys. Thank you so much for participating today in the live chat. And if you guys are a part of the replay crew, make sure you smash that like button, show some love. And if you guys are listening on the podcast, drop us a rating and let us know what you think. But we will see you again live on Friday. I love you guys. Happy Wednesday, and we'll see you soon. Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.